It's been 1.5 hours since we started recording, essentially, or since we wanted to start recording, and we finally figured out that if you twist the little microphone part, the microphone itself, the audio starts to sound really nice. We figured this out after an hour because we couldn't get the noise to be removed and stuff, and obviously we didn't want to repeat issues from last one. Yeah, we ended up literally just googling a little bit, right? And then we saw this 10-year-old kid, and he just like twists the mic
wait,
to the
a
side.
10-year-old, a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. It was like a 10-year-old kid. Just like it turns on horizontally, and apparently it changes the way the entire microphone works, which is extremely weird. So hopefully the sound is better now, and we can get a proper podcast going. Also, the whole hum thing on James's mic is gone. We are actually improving the podcast. Trust me.
All we had to do was twist it from the 12 o'clock to from parallel to horizontal. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Which brings me to the extra intro. Hello and welcome everyone to the Baddie and the Beer podcast. I'm your host Phenosi, featuring James.
Hi.
So today we are going to be talking about obviously we already started talking about a little bit about our mics and how we managed to fix the issue with our mics, because we actually were just, we were kind of stupid about that. Kind of not smart to not look into the manual. But then again, I'm pretty sure anyone has ever gotten like a package or like something electronic, right? Do you ever read the manual on that? I mean, at least I don't.
I don't. I definitely don't. Like when we figured it out, I was literally have you my face was literally like how do I describe it? Kaguya-sama when she's in shock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the one Naruto is like the sexy no jutsu. Yeah, I remember.
Like it's just that anime shock. Like wide-eyed, huh? And just fade away.
Yeah.
That was me, because literally audio, guys, it just makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Audio is it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Like honestly, like I thought it would be easy because I have some experience in it, but that's because obviously if I do work with audio in Adobe Audition or Audacity or whatever it is for a project or work, I always work with professional equipment, which it makes such a big difference. Oh God. But yeah, no, we I'm so surprised by the mic thing, sorry. I'm gonna just say again, just because I'm gonna say, I feel like I'm gonna say this every episode we do every episode recording during summertime, because I have allergies. Many people have allergies, but I have allergies for like trees and hay fever. And I don't know about Ireland, but like in the Netherlands, it's getting hotter again.
Oh,
we're going towards that summer. Yeah. We're going to that summer season, right? And that means that like the hay fever is going to get so much worse. I mean, I don't know if do you have the same like allergy? I think a lot of people have it.
I have hay fever.
Yeah.
But the thing with me is that over time, as I grown, I kind of grew out of it to where it's not as bad as when I was like younger. Because when I was younger, oh god, I had sneezing fits. I had difficulty sleeping because of it. It was horrible. My eyes itched. They were hurting me. I puffed up like a puffer fish. It was horrible. Especially my first time getting hay fever. Literally was the worst experience of my life ever.
Yep.
Like literally, imagine a 7-year-old kid doesn't know, and for the first time ever, rolling around in freshly cut grass on an Irish summer day, and then all of a sudden you just get this sense of pain and discomfort and itchiness. All you're doing is crying and saying, because you don't understand what's happening, and then you go straight to the hospital or to the doctor, shall I say, saying we have a GP, general practitioner, we've clinics, and I went there. He's like, oh yeah, you've got hay fever. You got it bad. Yeah, do you think, God. Doc? I look like a puffer fish.
Man's dying out here, like looking like a pufferfish, like extremely puffed up face, like, you think? You think something's wrong?
I looked like that puffer fish from SpongeBob.
Oh god, I can imagine that. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, no. That's. I mean, me too. Honestly, like my allergies are like really bad. The thing is, even if I have like medicine for like my nose, eyes, and whatnot, right? It's just like I still get like the cold symptoms. I still get puffy, like puffy eyes and stuff, and I still sneeze, I cough, and it gets to that point where obviously, this is obviously but like influenced by like not just hay fever, right? This is also like I'm allergic to like 3-4 different type of trees. I don't ask me why. I just am.
Specific.
Yeah, specific
trees.
type of trees and like the things they drop from it because it's very close to hay fever. And apparently it's very common. If you have hay fever, you have a likeliness to be allergic to these type of trees that they we call them like witch noses, which is a really weird thing. But like those leaves things, and they kind of split them at the bottom, and you can put them on your nose, and it's what I call witch noses. It's really weird. It's something, you know. It's a really weird Dutch thing. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's like an international thing.
I've never even heard of that.
Okay, but essentially it's this weird thing. They drop that, and that I'm allergic to that. And then there's also these trees that they have these like kind of like what do you like weed like grain type of deal, you know? And essentially like what grows from it looked like you have like a I would say a wheat leaf, but not actually like wheat. I don't know how you explain this. Obviously not a native English speaker, but essentially what they make bread of, right?
Wheat.
Wheat, yes, wheat with a T. Yeah. So wheat with a T. Essentially that's kind of, it looks like that, but like very tiny. And it falls off of the tree and then it becomes like powder, like that, right? And that powder, if I like inhale that or I'm near it when someone does the powder thing, I can get sick from that. Like my body just has such a violent reaction to it. I'm just in bed. I'm dead for the next 3 hours, which is really annoying. But it gets to that point where if I'm like at work, and especially in the morning, because you know you get up, you do your thing, your morning routine right before going to work, and I take my medication. It takes some time to kick in though. So by the time I get to work, like the first half an hour of the day at work, I'm just dying of allergies. I'm like coughing my lungs out, like I'm all like puffy and shit. I'm sneezing, and like one of my colleagues, he just goes like, "Dude, are you okay? Like you sound like you're dying." And I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just the allergies, man. It's just the allergies." That's seriously how bad it gets. And sometimes they don't end up not believing me. But I mean, like, I don't know. I've had some really bad experience with allergies. Like I've gotten like sick where I was like seriously like sick, and I had like a lot of cold symptoms and stuff like that. When I remember it was a summer, I think a few years ago, where it went from cold to super hot and the pollen everywhere. And I just got sick for like 2-3 days because of how insane like the allergies were at the time. Which is, I mean, someone could have like communicated that to me, like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like super hot in a few days. It's gonna rise in temperature, and your allergies are gonna kick in like extremely hard. There's no like smooth curve here anymore. you're just gonna die. I wish someone would have told me that. Which I mean, in general, I really don't. I think it's a bit weird, you know. Like sometimes I communicate things with people. And I don't know if you have this, right? But like sometimes I communicate things with people, and it's just they don't understand what I mean. Like in my head, it makes sense, but for them, it doesn't. Like I don't know. Have you had that?
Like the thing is, right? With my job, as you know, army, you have to go out into the wilderness. You have to stay out there for days, you know, among the trees and the mountains and shit. In the summertime, and I've hay fever, that's hard. Eyes are itchy and shit. Right. You have to shoot your gun to simulate like ambushes and shit. You know, you have to shoot blank rounds to simulate like ambushing people and shit. Yeah. And you're just there sitting in the morning before the sun rises to set up a position. Because when you travel around, you travel at night. You don't do it in day because at nighttime you don't get spotted as easily. But obviously with modern technology of UAVs that can see so much better. But at night, you're still much better because you don't get seen by ground forces. You know, so that's why you travel at night. But even with the nighttime, with summer, it's fine. It's cool. As soon as that fucking sun rises, that's when the hay fever and the pollen starts to come. And that's when it hurts and itches and starts you just want to prevent you from screaming, I hate this shit.
Have you ever had to do like gun practice or like weapons practice or like shooting practice and then having like
down on
the allergies at the same time? Yeah, at the range.
I have.
It's like, James, you failed your class because you missed all your shots.
I didn't fail.
But sir, my eyes, they're tearing up. I can't see anything. I'm sneezing. Don't you see I have allergies?
The only problem I have concerning I wear glasses is that my glasses would fog up. Mm-hmm. I have to wear glasses. Yeah. I wear the specs, guys. Yes, I'm one of them.
I also have glasses, but I only wear them when I mean this might be a bit weird, but like I only wear my glasses when I like go outside. This is like when I know I'm gonna be working at home that day, I just don't wear glasses. If I know I'm gonna go outside or like I need to drive a car or something, like, right? Then I'll put on my glasses because obviously I've got the thing where you can't see in the distance.
Oh wait,
right?
Are you short-sighted?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I'm short-sighted as well.
Yeah, so I only wear it when I need to see in the distance, and that's only when you go outside and actually do stuff. And then I've got like the blue filter thingy inside of my glasses, so that when like I work a lot on the because when you work on the computer, right, it's it helps like release a bit of that the dry eyes and stuff you may get from like looking at the screen.
Especially when you're editing videos and that,
or damage.
Like, you're editing videos, you could be sitting there for like 3 hours straight, just making sure it's
editing
perfect.
the video, listening to the same funny clip for 20 times. Yes, I love editing.
Or playing video games.
Honestly,
like
James, can we just be completely honest? Because I do editing for a job as well, right? Yeah. Editing fucking sucks. Okay, I need to explain this, right? Okay, editing sucks to a degree, right? Because, or at some point, I guess I would say that's a better wording for it. If you do fun editing where you have creative freedom and stuff, that's great. I love that. But if you're like making an armor-free video or you're compiling something, like a simple compilation, and it's just a lot of tedious work, editing is so boring. Or like, I mean, this is gonna sound really fucking bad, but when I did episode 1 of the Baddie in the Beard, because I did like the design and like the post processing stuff, right, for the podcast, I was seriously, I need to look for those chapters, right, and put them into the YouTube part and whatnot. So I have to listen to the podcast. Yeah, I know. I have to listen to my own podcast.
Yeah, he's listening to me for a third time, maybe, or a fifth time.
And you have to find these chapters, and it's just compiling stuff because I basically make templates and I apply the templates with the new episodes. That's what I do to make it just an easy workflow going. I get an easy, smooth workflow going, right? But the problem with that is that I still need to go through the entire podcast to find where your chapter starts and ends, essentially, to be able to put it into chapters or stuff like that. For Anchor as well, I have to put in chapters and stuff, right? So that type of stuff, the tedious stuff, is just so boring. It's like, tedious stuff is obviously boring. Tedious stuff is tedious, right? It's a kind of, the name for it. But with editing, I feel like it's just like 5 times worse. Like, I know you edit like really long armor videos as well, right?
Oh, stop. 3-hour videos, and you have to edit that into a 40-minute video. Doesn't sound all that hard to you guys, maybe. But for me, I'm probably still at a novice or intermediate level of editing. Mm-hmm. Like I just because with me, I literally watch. Because considering I've got like 18 videos, I think, at this point, that I still have to edit. That's like 48 hours in total, probably, of footage that I have to go through now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, sure, I come back from a job, I have a lot of work, but I don't like, but it's still like one project. But I feel like with like game recording, right? Because it's so much different. Because if I get back from a job, from like a wedding or something, a wedding shoot, and I import the footage, you got like hours of footage and stuff, you go through it, but you only get bits and pieces of stuff, and that's a lot easier to edit. This is gonna sound weird, right? But like editing a wedding shoot, right? A video compared to Arma sometimes is easier. Because with the Arma experience, because for people to actually watch the entire operation, right, we're talking a movie length. Because most operations we do in ICC are like 2-3 hours. So for a wedding shoot, like if it's a long video, like we were talking like 20 to like 40 minutes for like a long movie. And if they want like the shortcut, like sort of like the compilation of it, 5 or 10 minutes, right? So for Arma, you're essentially like you're editing a movie, and every like piece of information they need to get in terms of RP or story, you also want to put into it, and that makes the editing process so much more difficult sometimes.
Especially when audio is scuffed.
Especially when audio.
Because then you have to put in subtitles, and that's even more of a pain.
I would never force any squad leader to do RP when I have a shitty mic and the wrong volume gate settings. I would never do such a thing.
Oh, no. Go back to the last episode, guys, and go to watch that Odium, it's linked from the last.
We talked about the last episode where I basically forced James to like do this RP thing. Like listen to his story I was telling, giving him hints to the objective and tasking as well, right? But he couldn't hear anything because my mic just kept cutting out because of the volume gate and stuff. It was
scuffed.
It was terrible. Yeah,
but like going back to the allergies, right? What was it like when you were in school? When the summer months was coming around and your allergies start coming, what were you like in school? Like you were 14, 15, you're probably preparing for summer exams, but like you're there distracted, itching your eyes or something, and you can't concentrate in class.
I mean, besides the bullying, I wish that was a joke. No, it was just like, it was terrible. I couldn't get work done mostly because like if you talk primary school, we had this like I went to what was not like regular school. It was more like I don't know how to call it like in English, but it was like it's like a freedom type of school. So it's kind of like you get these taskings. They kind of get taught like you would be taught in high school, but in primary school already. Kind of like that, I guess.
So what, you get like an assignment or something?
Yeah, you get assignments. So today you need to do like maths and like Dutch and English and stuff. And they'll put it on the board and they go like, well, we'll talk about it at these time points. But as soon as you walk in the door, it's your job to finish that. And that's essentially how from like grade, like with grades from 1 to 8, right? You go through. And primary, and then you would like from like 3 or 4. That's essentially like you're being taught to be like independent and plan your own stuff. That's
completely the opposite.
So, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I need to get all this work done and these assignments done, and I just couldn't because I was tearing up.
That's the second
I was tearing. Yeah, but like when I was tearing up. I couldn't get work done. I mean, it was terrible. It was honestly just terrible.
Like for me, right? When I was in primary school, right? I was in first class. Like we have like junior infants, senior infants, right? Which senior infants is first and second class. Then when you go into third class, you're in primary education. Then, and then you go up to sixth class. And that's where you end your primary education. And then you go into first year secondary. And you do about, up until, you go from when you're 13 up until you're 17. And in certain cases, 18. I finished school, I finished secondary education at 17. Right?
Yeah.
And during that entire time, right, specifically, like in secondary school, it wasn't that bad, because I got to go home for lunch, but during primary, specifically, my ma and dad would go into the school just to give me my eye drops and the antihistamine tablet, so my allergies wouldn't affect me during school. We had timings of, because during the eye drops you'd say, oh, apply this 3 times daily, which is 3 times a day. So they would come to school to get I'll do it in the morning. Then around 1 or 2 o'clock, I'm still in school. About 1 o'clock, I'm still in school. And I'd come in at about lunchtime, which is about 12, half 12, right? and they'll give me my eye drops during lunchtime, right? Out in the hallway, like outside the classroom. So I'm not disturbing everyone, you know? And they'll give me just the eye drops, you know? And considering I only need to take the tablets only twice, so I'll take it in the morning and before I go to bed, and then when I wake up again in the morning. That's the only time I have to take my tablets, you know? But with the eye drops, you have to do it 3 times daily. Morning, lunchtime, and before bed. You know, so it was very annoying, you know, considering I couldn't really do it. You know, that was one issue, you know, of growing up with allergies. You know, it just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder who else, right? If you're watching, has hay fever, right?
Or listening.
And what way did you deal with it when you were in school and the summer months? And your hay fever? Like, how did you deal with it? Like, did you just soldier on and, you know, I can do this with tears running down your eyes and, you know, or did you bring the stuff in and take it? Or are you just an American and you have to pay hundreds for it? Like, I don't know. How do you deal with it? What allergies do you have? Do you have a peanut allergy?
Yeah, because
that'd be interesting. How do you deal with that? That'd be actually interesting to know. I'd actually want to see it.
I mean, besides hay fever, do you have any other allergies? You're like, I can't like eat this or I can't do that. I'll die.
For me, I hate bullshit. I'm allergic to bullshit, and I don't mean that as an actual allergy. No, I'm just. I don't think that it's just sarcasm. But literally, I just hate bullshit. Like the reason why I hate bullshit is because there's people out there that just talk and talk and talk. And they act like someone they're not, or they act like a hard man, and they just talk and talk. I say I'm allergic to that because it annoys me as much as my allergies annoys me. That's why I say it that way. But I say it more in a sarcastic way nowadays. My brother, on the other hand, he's the opposite.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah, he hates that. He doesn't even he has allergies too. But the thing is, he doesn't have hay fever none. He's got an allergy to dust.
Oh, dust, right? Yeah. I don't think I'm sensitive to it, but I don't. That's fucking stupid. Why am I saying like I'm sensitive? That probably means I'm like if I'm sensitive to dust, like I'm probably exactly. I'm sensitive to dust as well. Surprisingly, right, my girlfriend, Penda, right, she's also like really allergic to like a messy room, essentially. Not because I don't clean my room, but like if I hadn't cleaned in a while, it would, and it's dusty, like she just sneezes like all day, and I'm like, oh fuck, I should have cleaned the room, which is really funny.
Should have just dusted the telly before she came in. No,
yeah,
television. It's the television. It's always the television.
Do you still watch TV? Like honestly?
No, I just
like the besides like the news. Do you maybe
I don't
watch
even
like
watch the news?
You don't even watch the news?
No, the news I watch is essentially online newspapers, right? Just to get the basic information, and then I do my own research and make my own opinion, right? But if there's any news about like the army or something, I don't need the newspaper to tell me. I already know. I'm in the army. You know, I don't need them to tell me. I know. But when it comes to politics or interesting topics like history, I do read, but I do my own research and I learn about it. You know, I got loads of books there, all about history mainly. I think very few is actually fiction. I think 95% of my books are history. That's all because I have that interest.
Yeah, I just feel like TV, or like watching the news on TV and like TV shows and stuff, it's all like very dying in general, right? So to me, it just seems like it's so much easier to access. Everything's on like on demand type of deal right now. So like Netflix,
all streaming services.
Amazon Prime has some stuff. Yeah, a bunch of streaming services to watch all the shows you would want to watch. And with the amount of people starting to use VPNs, people also start to actually like. They're like, oh, well, I can just go to America with my VPN and just watch the movie there if it wasn't on Netflix in my own country. And that'd be totally fine. Like, that's very normal stuff, I feel like, nowadays. And even then, if you want to look at the news, there's an app for it. You can go to the website. Like, TV is so dying, which in turn, I think, makes everything so expensive. And also makes these TV channels try and makes them like very eager to become a streaming service themselves. I can't really name a few, but there were like Kickstarters for different streaming services. And most recently, this is an extremely like kind of, I don't want to make the episode too dated, obviously, but this was because it's kind of a while back anyway, but I'm just going to use it as an example, right? There was a streaming service on Kickstarter, right? Like I said earlier, with streaming service, they want to start a Kickstarter or something like that, or get funding on funding websites, right? There was an anime funding, like an anime streaming service funding. And I don't know the name of it anymore. I'd probably just be smart to not name it anyway. But this is what they said, right, James? And if you watch a bit of anime, you'll know what I mean by this, by like how ridiculous this is. They said, we will create a streaming service that will have every title you want on it. Every anime title that's come out, old and new.
There's the problem there.
And they got quite a bit of funding. Let me just put out that they got quite a bit of funding, but they didn't get far because obviously copyright stuff, and Japan. People started catching on like this is impossible, and the worst thing about all of this as well is that there was obviously big companies involved, right? Because for a second, Crunchyroll is a big company.
Everyone.
Yeah.
You literally.
But like there was also like the producing studios that they were sort of, well, as they said, they were in contact with them. And I feel like you as a business, as any business, right? If in this case the all owning anime streamer application or whatever it was going to be, it was going to be an application / just social service, I'm pretty sure. They announced that they were in talks with like studios and stuff, and those studios then went on Twitter and said, we're not in talks. And then you know what they said? Oh yeah, but we send you an email, so like we're in talks. Okay, if I sent you an email, James, and you're a company, right? Right, you're the company.
There's no dialogue. There is none. The thing is,
no, but James, I sent you an email, so we're in talks. No, you don't understand. We are in talks because I sent you an email.
That makes no sense, bro.
Yeah, I know. It makes no sense.
Guys, if you don't know, right, Japan has one of the most strictest copyright laws in the world. Like, I mean they do, right? They go after anyone they see is infringing on their copyright. Hard. Really, really, really hard. Like, I don't even... You think YouTube and their copyright system's bad? Yeah, add in the anime industry and Japanese law. It's hard. Like, there are loads, like Nintendo, for example. Nintendo recently literally took down a YouTube channel that had hundreds of videos about their content. About just Nintendo content, right? Whether it be video games, topics talking about it. They took it down.
I have to say that like Japanese like copyright law is very old fashioned though.
It is.
Like the modern one is very transformative. Like if I make a commentary video and edit over it and all that stuff, it's like transformative and it's fine. But in Japan, even that doesn't really count.
Like as far as I understand. AMVs, animated music videos, and they have anime and they get their favorite anime and they put a song over it. There's two ways that can go, right? Especially in the old days where copyright wasn't really fleshed out, really, like going back a decade or going back 7 years ago, right? There was a bit of a thing there, right? Where you had the music industry coming after you, and then you also had the anime industry coming after you because you used their footage and their audio from like Japanese dialogue, within the anime. And then you've got the music studio coming after you, like Sony. Like, Sony is a Japanese studio, so they would go after you as well, and other American studios as well, like Universal and that, They'd come after you hard for using what they see as their music, although that was solved. That was solved. Now we can do whatever we want, because as long as it's transformative, And that's why YouTube also has the list of non-copyrighted music now in their editor. That's what you can use.
It's a good tool. It's a good tool for creators. I mean, speaking of like creating, right? Like, and like the whole AMV thing. This is it's like, oh god, I don't want to bring in my cringe past, but I used to make AMVs.
I've seen it.
Dodged
I've
that
seen
old.
it.
No,
I have seen it.
I used to dodge that the old-fashioned Japanese copyright law. I've dodged it like so many times because I was when I say I made AMVs, I was dedicated. I was like dedicated.
This man
to
literally
AMVs.
talked and reacted to anime. This man, I am exposing
I was like
you
doing
now.
my...
I am exposing you. Like,
Yeah,
did you do a dance?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
there
he
was
done an
this, like,
anime dance.
I did the Lucky Star.
Yeah,
dance
the
for a
Lucky
video.
Star one. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done some
I've
really cringy
exposed
stuff. I used to react to anime. I used to make AMVs. I used to make memes, right? And at some point, I made this like very famous like anime meme, where like you had like it's like the what's the game called? Rainbow Six Siege,
Yeah, the
right?
Rainbow Six
They walked
Siege.
into the room with a flip out the mobile phone with the screen. You put some funny meme on it. I was essentially just very early to it. And then you just put the thing on it, right? And you put the phone away, and it's like FBI open up. That's really old meme. I was one of the first ones to like put that up, and my video got like almost like 1 million views. And that's how essentially on the Phenosi, on the Phenosi channel, that's how I gained a lot of subs on it. And I hated it. I remember, right, James, I made a damn video saying I hate my own video because I was so just torn that I had been YouTubing for 2-3 years, right?
And then that video goes
I make
wildfire.
one meme, and the meme is what I'm known for. The meme is what I got the subscribers from, and
Everything else
like
is just
any-
dead.
anything else I just did. Yeah. And that really sucked at the time. But yeah, no, I dodged a lot of that like copyright things. You would get copyright claims, so I was like, back in that day, content ID wasn't too bad. So whenever I made like when I would get like claims by the Japanese companies and stuff when I made AMVs, I would essentially dispute them, right? You can dispute the claim, and I would say, well, it's informative in AMV, and that's all you had to do. Yeah, all you had to do was put in it's transformative. It's an AMV. I added some text and stuff. I did one where I used a song of Hotel Books, and essentially it's like a more of a speech music type of deal. So it was a lot of talking and stuff, and I basically subtitled that, and that made it transformative enough to me to dispute the AMV, which I think, by the way, I think that's still up, the AMV on the channel. I mean, if you look it up for free, but that's actually one I actually kind of like. I did make a lot of like AMVs about like my favorite anime, right? Like I don't know if you've got any favorite shows you ever super dedicated to, but
Super dedicated to.
yeah, like I mean like dedicated to.
I have to go back a while. Like,
I mean, how long have you been watching?
I've been watching anime since I was like 15. I'm 10 years.
Yeah,
watching
same like
anime
13, 14 here.
Like I started out with the shonen, Naruto.
I still
all
watch
that
shonen
shit,
shows.
you know?
Shonen
I
shows.
do too, yeah. I do too. But like I watched at the time it was the big fucking three. Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Yeah, me and my brother are rewatching Bleach at the moment.
Right.
Just because the last arc got announced.
Oh yeah, I mean, I never got into One Piece.
No, I can't watch One Piece either. It's just too long. I watched 16 episodes of One Piece, and it was so like, when am I getting into the action?
Supposedly good.
Like, it's just
right.
It's just the first arc is just literally characters, and
Makes sense. They gotta set up good characters. You want to make a show that's over 800.
Set it up right, and it's a long form. How many episodes does One Piece have? Like 1,000 now.
It has 1,000 now at
Like,
this point.
honestly, if your show runs for that long, just end it.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's.
But I mean, if you were to pick a favorite though, like if you
favorite
pick a favorite, like a favorite show, you're like, when I watched this, I was like huge fanboy, right?
The Fates.
could be Naruto. That's fine. If you grow up with that, you have a lot of like nostalgia towards and stuff. That's fine. That's your favorite show. That's cool. But like, is there any other show besides like obviously the stuff you grew up with that you're like, this was really good?
Like, the first time I realized watching anime was obviously like 10 years ago, right? That's when I started to go back. Because when I was young, I was watching Naruto, I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh, Duel Masters, you know, all that, Digimon. You know, I was watching that when I was a kid. Then I stopped because, you know, it's for kids now. And then I rewatched it. And, you know, my brother first started watching anime for the first time, you know? And that's when we first got exposed to it, like 10 years ago, you know? But, But the first, like, for me and my brother, we consider, like, watching the big ones, like Naruto and that's mainstream. If we go away from mainstream.
Yeah. What's your favorite non-mainstream?
The first one that we ever watched was Clannad.
Ooh, Clannad isn't... Okay, right? Clannad's popular, but not really mainstream. Yeah, that's true. Clannad is just such a tearjerker.
Clannad, by the way, the reason why we watched Clannad, because it's Irish. The word Clannad is Irish. And when you watch the anime and learn the terminology of that word, it makes so much sense. And that is why I love that show. That I just fell in love with the soundtrack. I fell in love with everything. I loved that show so much. Clannad, the motion picture, Clannad After Story, I watched it all. I've watched it 5 times.
Holy shit, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, obviously it's Clannad and... You know, that shit's a tearjerker.
It is a tearjerker.
That shit is sad, but Clannad After Story is like the saddest shit I've ever watched.
Literally, like, I went from 10 manly points to 0 manly points at that age. I was not a man after that. I cried so long and hard. I literally had to take a break. What's for eating? What's for group, Phenosi? Want to share with the audience?
I just got my dinner. Okay, we're doing this after work. I need to eat.
Anyway,
let's continue.
Like, that's the first time, like we delved into it. Like, and it was just like, honestly. And Clannad, by the way, guys, if you don't know, the term for it in from Irish to English, I don't even know if the Japanese person was aware that Clannad is an Irish word, and it's used for clan, tribe, or family. And if you know Clannad, it's all about family.
It's still sad. In Clannad After Story, it took like what Clannad did and you stepped it up by like 5 times. And when I finished watching that, I just... You know, you finish a show sometimes.
Yeah.
You have this empty feeling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially
but Clannad After Story
when you have
left a fucking hole inside of my heart.
You don't have an empty
feeling.
Holy
shit.
To me, it was like a hole in my heart. I needed to step away for a while. God. And that's when me and my brother found FMA. Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Yeah.
We watched that. We said, oh, this is good. And then we went and watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That first opening by Yui.
That's good.
Oh my God.
I mean, talking about soundtrack, I mean...
Boom. That's what first got me interested in actually listening into openings as well. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Opening 1.
That opening is still a fucking banger. But like, Clannad had a good soundtrack as well. Like, Clannad had like... You know, when you watch Clannad After Story, they do this really smart thing, right? So in Clannad, you have the piano theme, the sad one. And then in the Clannad After Story, they'll do a remix of it. And they'll play it. And then when the sad hits, they'll like go back to the original, but like it sounds a bit different, so you won't really recognize until like it hits that like chorus part, and you just go, oh no, you can't do that. You can't use my emotional triggers.
I think everyone would agree that when you listen to an opening for the first time, you go into YouTube to find that opening. You whether it's just 1 minute and 30 seconds, right?
James, I'll tell you, I'm very picky.
Right? Do you know what I hate? Clannad, right? As many times as I've liked the opening, the full song, or just the 1 minute and 30 seconds they use for the opening, right? The anime industry always find a way to F me. They've managed to find these people and copyright strike them and take the video down. They always find a way. And therefore, it's just now I just can't find it specifically. I found remix versions, which is allowed by copyright.
Well, the thing is, right, like Clannad, and then I'm gonna use this as like a segue into my favorite anime, right? Clannad used, I think, 1 or 2 insert songs And to give you an example of what that means is the insert songs are usually, well, the songs they insert during the episode, right? And the insert songs are usually sang by the voice actors or voice actresses themselves. So in Clannad, there's I think it's a 1 or 2, and I think for stuff like ReZero, you have Rem's insert song, which is extremely popular. If you watch ReZero, you'll know the song. It's like the sad confession song, essentially. For my favorite show, which isn't also not a popular take. This is just like a pretty niche one, I would say. I mean, I guess it's popular at the time, but my favorite show was Shinobiyu, which Shinobiyu was
that's a good show.
Yeah, it's in English title is Love, Shinobiyu, and Other Delusions, and I fucking love Rika. That is such a great character.
Rika-chan.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you're listening and you're like, oh, I watch Phenosi, you know that all my like follow announcements and stuff like that, they're all like Shinobiyu stuff. So like this didn't come out as a surprise, but I love that show to death, and it wasn't while I was watching it, because I loved the romance in it. I love the way the character set up. I love the way like the mental health issues are presented in such a extreme and anime way, right? Like you can be so delusional to the point where you just totally forget about the traumatizing thing that happened, and that you became a completely different person because you couldn't accept something so severely traumatizing to you that you just become this like completely different person, this completely different personality, and you get this different side to you that it completely just masks like what happened. And that's essentially what Rika's character is, right? Like I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but for people that still want to watch it after this, maybe I highly recommend it. And to give a short like what's going on is she has some shit going on that really traumatized her, and she is very like delusional because of it now, or as they call it, eighth grader syndrome, which essentially is like, you know, when you were a kid and you imagine these fantasies, that's what they're still going through. That's what they still do. And it makes her obviously seem a bit weird and quirky and stuff, and she's a very lovable character, very funny, and the comedy's pretty good as well. But as the show goes on, she obviously she meets our main character Yuta, and they sort of like build a relationship. It's a romance anime at the end of the day, and
it's a rom-com.
Because of that relation, it's a rom-com, yeah. And because of that relationship and how the relationship evolves, she has to grow as a person as well and accept what happened to her, that, you know, the traumatizing stuff that happened to her in her childhood. And and again, I can't spoil it, but the end of the show, it is such it's not like it's just a sweet ending. It's such a sweet ending, and I love the movies. I watch every season. I rewatched like the entire movies and seasons, I think altogether like 2-3 times, because of how good it is, and watching it with people and stuff as well, obviously. It's an amazing show. And to actually get back to what my point here was, the insert song, that's like when Rika and her voice actress, she does the vocal performance for like a song at a festival, and I think it's season 1, like episode 8, 9, I'm not 100% sure. She does this like singing thing, and Rika's thing is like the eye patch, right? So she takes the eye patch off during the scene, right? And that like it shows such character development, right? Because it was just only like for that episode, but so it's just to kind of like show like, oh, we're doing something with the character, right? And then they play the insert song, and it came to such a shock to me because I watch characters on the screen do their thing. I watch them go through traumatizing things. I watch them go through like hardships and go through the good stuff. I watch them, you know, form relationships and break up. I've seen everything in anime. But when you insert a song, essentially like how a real person that really goes through a lot would sometimes maybe like write a song about it or write a book about it. It felt like that character was actually expressing those feelings and actually like trying to like deal with it. And because the insert song sounds so real. It's so, I don't know, it really touched my heart. It was amazing. And I think from that point on, I was just hooked on the show. Like that just hit me right in the feels, and from that point on, I was like on with the show. Like, I was like, you can be a bad show from this point on. I would still fucking love it.
Like the thing is, right? I've watched a lot of mediocre anime now as well. Like everyone has at this point, right? Just to fill the void, you know, and to get that anime.
Why did you say it like that?
But like, people say, "Oh, my favorite is such and such." To me, I go by genre now. So my favorite romance, Clannad. My favorite action, well, that's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know,
Really? It's not like a shonen anime or something new. Like, dude, I'm gonna be like the generic fan. Like, but like Demon Slayer, the Entertainment District arc.
I haven't even watched it yet.
It's so fucking good. Like, you can say a lot about but Demon Slayer.
Honestly, Demon
it's
Slayer
not complex.
is so
It's not.
beautiful.
It's not out there, right? It's not like insanely big and like inventing the reinventing the wheel or anything, right? Like that. It's just like it's good. It knows what it's doing and it's good.
Yeah, the animation and everything for the fight scenes. Just I had my every time, like even the first season, just the fight scenes, it just jaw drop how beautiful the animation is.
Can you imagine, right? Because you got like, I don't know if you watch Mugen Train either, but like, can you imagine that, like, that one thing where like the spinning flame that from season 1 that basically hyped up the entire anime community, that thing, right, became like the standard for any fighting animation for the rest of the show.
They do fire so well as well.
Like, that is insane. They said, "Oh, this works. We'll put all the budget into this," and that was a fucking good decision. Because even if you watch it for the animation or the soundtrack or something, right? Because I mean, Demon Slayer, like I said, it knows what it's doing and it knows to keep it simple. Like, your parents could watch Demon Slayer and be like, "Yeah, I understand. This is a good show because good animation, good soundtrack. It makes sense. It's not too hard to follow, and it's a chill watch." And they know exactly what they're doing. And by putting emphasis on the fact that they have fucking insane animation skill, it just makes it so much better.
You don't get it
put that budget in there,
honestly,
and it works.
You don't get anywhere else with that skill of anime. You know, you don't get it anywhere else. Like the animation from Ufotable and just the Fate series as well is my favorite series as well.
I'll be honest, I never got into the Fate series.
Honestly, I watched Fate. By God, was I gobsmacked. They actually used Irish mythological legends. Cú Chulainn,
that's kind of cool.
Dermot. Oh my God. I was hooked.
Yeah.
Anything Irish in anime gets me hooked straight away. Like, because, why would you use Ireland? Why would you have Ireland? Japan, hello. We're literally opposite of the world from each other. And for some reason, some people just introduce Irish characters. Irish is just so weird. Like for example, the Irish animation industry is literally just known for one company, Cartoon Saloon. If you haven't watched their movies, I would recommend it. You will fall in love with their animation style and their art style so quickly. They don't stick to the one. They make their own one for each individual story. They just finish.
That's cool.
That's
very impressive.
Like The Secret of Kells. What else is it called? Song of the Sea. Breadwinner. Wolf Walkers, or Talkers. Can't remember now. But these 4 movies, literally. Like, Song of the Sea almost got them an Oscar, right? They gave Box Trolls the Oscar. By the way, this was at the time when the anime movie The Legend of the Princess Kaguya came out, as well. That had beautiful animation and a beautiful story as well. You had Song of the Sea and the Princess Kaguya, right? Mm-hmm. Anime industry, Irish animation industry. They were the ones that should have gone head to head. Hollywood decided it's not American.
Yeah, but there will always be some. Yeah, there will always be like something like that. Like, especially if it's like hosted in the country that, like, it's gonna favor its own country to a degree.
Yeah, it's gonna, and that's the thing. That's not what's not meant to happen. It just goes to show that
it always sometimes happens. As long as you know, James, I know, it's good.
My brother knows.
That's all that matters.
Everyone knows. I literally go to the cinema if I can to watch this. Like, my brother follows the studio as closely as possible. You know, they've done their Breadwinner. Breadwinner, by the way, is actually about the Afghan war. It's actually about the Afghan war, and it's they don't delve into the politics of the war. They don't delve into the soldiers. They actually tell the story of one little girl. And the reason why it's called Breadwinner is because breadwinner, if you don't know, means that you earn enough for the family. You're the one that earns the money, that gets to put the food on the table for the family. That's why it's called Breadwinner. You know, and
that sounds like a
it's a tearjerker.
Sad story. Yeah. That's like the perfect fucking setup for like a tearjerker.
Hayao Miyazaki, anti-war movies everywhere, right? He's got anti-war somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke had an anti-war vibe to it, but its main message was nature.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Breadwinner was a purely anti-war movie. The studio even admits it. Anti-war, right? And how they do it is they don't show the atrocities or nothing. No. That's not how they do it. They show the struggles of an Afghan girl in a war-torn country.
All right. Yeah, no, I think it's great that you can have like such interesting settings for a story, but the way you tell it's really interesting. I can do that from that perspective. And a lot of these like famous movies were like very much like made around that wartime. So and then watching them now, I guess you get some hints of like that they were made during a wartime. I guess you get some hints from it, but it's really cool how they hide the fact that like the state of the world didn't really matter for the story they were telling. So I think that's a really, really interesting thing indeed. However, the whole thing about like Irish anime being like amazing, or animation in general, I mean, I feel like that's very
like,
personal.
You just need to look.
Like I don't know. Like obviously, like if I were Irish and you would say, "Oh, this thing is Irish. Oh, this is super good," I'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, we are Irish, so we will like it." Like it's funny because it like fit, like, you know, it's the country you're from. So like when I watched the what is it, the Hitman's Bodyguard, which was set for most of its like runtime in the Netherlands, I was still like, oh, this is really cool. This is Amsterdam. I've been here, right? And this is really cool stuff. And it added a lot to the movie. So I can definitely understand that if I look at it from like I watched like that movie and I thought, oh, well, the Netherlands in there, that makes the movie way better to me. I thought that was very interesting to see, and I can see that for animation that would still work. I just don't know any like Dutch anime or any Dutch inspired anime.
You see, the thing,
would be
Belgium,
insane.
France, the Netherlands, right? They all have their own animation studios, but they don't make their own. They get hired out. They're like freelancer studios.
Oh, right.
You know, and there is a lot of them dotted around Europe, right? And Cartoon Saloon, although they do their own art style, they do their own animation, they still go to the likes of Belgium and France to get assistance in this as well, because there's certain things they don't know. They're operating a small team, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think that them going out to the wider EU also makes it not just an Irish thing, telling an Irish story, but it's also a European. You know what I mean? Although it's an Irish myth and Irish legend, the animation style and the art style wouldn't be there. Like, considering how very... Because if you know what the Book of Kells is, guys, you know it's an art piece by itself. It has very intricate, like, designs, right? That's what they got to use for one of their movies called The Secret of Kells, right? That type of art style, right? Now, obviously, you need a very, very professional person to do that amount of detail for an animation and try animate it as well, because it's not a still. You have to animate that. So they went to some studio that specializes in just that in Belgium, and they done it perfectly.
It's cool. Yeah.
You know, and that.
Yeah, and like if you really have the dedication in your craft to go out to like these dot around studios just to get this specific part done, that's really interesting. I mean, it's in a way it shows a dedication to the craft, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of you would say like a lot of people do it for the money and stuff, but like so after some of Ghibli movies, I can see that there was like true passion behind it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. A lot of professional guys who know animation and just look at animation, right? They've actually called the Irish studio Cartoon Saloon the Studio Ghibli of Europe. Like
That's a big fucking thing to stand on. But yeah,
that right there, that's a big statement to make. I know, but guys, if you ever get a chance to look up these movies and watch them, do it. You won't regret it. You'll love the story and the animation style. Like they kept it at 2D, but trust me, you will like it. You will fall in love with their differences of art style.
Yeah. And I feel like with that, I feel like that's a good recommendation indeed to give to the people. And I feel like the people that have listened to the podcast or watched this episode, depending on what platform you're on, they will have plenty of stuff to check out. So Shinobi, watch Clannad. That does a good well, they're both kind
if you want to
but the other one's also
the size
rom-com.
of your fist in your chest, by all means, watch the entirety of Clannad. Watch it.
And if Japanese copyright laws ever get loosened up, I feel like we're gonna see a flood of AMVs actually being online.
I don't think to be honest with you, there's certain people in Japan that want to make it even stricter. So I don't think you're going to get what you want, Phenosi.
Oh no. I'm sad now. All right. No, but thank you guys for listening today to our podcast. I hope you had some fun while listening and maybe have some new opinions and stuff. Obviously, if you have any allergies that you want to share with us and let us know how you dealt with that, also be sure to obviously let us know in the comments. That being said, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and check us out on Anchor as well. We would love to see everyone's support for the podcast. If you're enjoying it, obviously, see if you can support it in any way you want. So that being said, thank you guys for listening. And
thanks guys. See yas.
Thanks guys. See ya.